Okay, so as you may know, Rocket League is some sort of illegitimate love child of both football and hockey, but with some minor differences. However, the important aspect that hasn't carried on to Rocket League is the use of goalkeepers. In the lower ranks of Rocket League, goal camping was a genuine tactic that could easily win you games. This was mainly due to terrible shooting. However, it's not quite used in the relatively higher ranks, mostly due to better shot placement and tactical goal line bumps. However, if you have decent goal defense and can avoid being demoed, then this tactic would be the easiest way to ranking up in Rocket League. So to prove this, I decided to goal camp for an entire week to see what would happen. In this video, we'll be looking at the pros, the cons, and whether this tactic is viable in the higher ranks. Spoiler alert, it is, but not in the way you would think. So if you're going to enjoy the video, feel free to physically assault those like and subscribe buttons as it really helps out the channel. With that said, let's dive right into the video. Okay, so the goal camping technique is mostly useful in 3v3 as it's easier to 2v3 than to 1v2. In order for this tactic to be carried out successfully, there's some few things that you need to do. First of all, if you decide to sit back, you better make sure that you have decent defensive capabilities. So if you're a chronic backflipping machine with the aerial capabilities of a bronze, then this playstyle won't suit you. Similarly, if you choose to sit back, it's really important to make sure that you have at least 60 boost at all times. So definitely take advantage of the small pads around you. And finally, you need to be very wary of enemy bump plays, so I would highly recommend moving around or having your back against the post, so you can have a clear sight of your opponents. Okay, so now that you've mastered the basics on how to camp a little takeoff, become a tactical defensive player, let's go through the pros and cons of goal camping. Okay, so starting off with the first benefit, which is obviously winning more games. On paper, camping may seem like a defensive strategy, but you're actually on the attack much more than you would think. This is because with your booming clears coupled with your teammates' half rotations, this leads to way more attacks and goals, and as long as your team is able to control the mid boost effectively, winning games becomes like way more easier. The second benefit of this is that you also concede way less goals than normal. As long as you have relatively decent game sense and an IQ just slightly above room temperature, you should be saving majority of shots that you face. This also leads to you literally farming points, as most of the games I played I ended up being the MVP. Not that I'm surprised though, I'm basically a god at this game, but... So if having more points than your teammates makes you moist, then this could be the playstyle for you. And the final benefit of this playstyle is obviously ranking up, because if you win more games than you lose, then you'll definitely rank up, and with this tactic you can actually go on some really long win streaks. I personally managed to win 9 out of 10 games, and we only lost the 10th one because my teammates disconnected and the other one left like soon after. So yeah, this playstyle does have some major benefits to it, as well as some others which I haven't mentioned, like triggering your opponents and getting easy forfeit wins. However, this playstyle also does have some downsides to it, some of which might be a deal breaker for some. Firstly, and quite obviously, is bumps and demos. When you sit back in Rocket League, you're essentially putting a bounty on your head, and a simple bump can cripple your entire team's defense. Secondly is the boredom. Sometimes you don't get to touch the ball for like a minute and a half, and typically your mind starts to wander off and you start thinking to yourself, who the hell rates adult videos? Like, who is in the middle of obliterating their meat and it's just like, you know what, the acting and storyline was great, but the lighting really threw me off, 7 out of 10. And as you're busy pondering such intellectual issues, boom, you get scored on. Thirdly, we have boost. There were several times I was running on empty and ended up letting in easy goals due to lack of boost. So if you're the type of guy who just holds down the boost button for the entire game, then this playstyle definitely isn't for you. Also, if your 1v1 defense is complete ass, then definitely don't use this tactic. And as some of you may know, I don't play ones at all, maybe because I'm a toxic diamond player with deep underlying daddy issues, but who's to say. So if you don't have decent 1v1 ability, the entire game is just going to be a montage of you getting flicked, bumped and being dribbled past. This will also lead to your teammates raging and eventually leaving the game. And finally, with these tactics, your mechanics and rotation will suffer greatly. So if you were trash in diamond, you will still be trash but somehow in champ too. In conclusion, if done properly, goal camping can be a very useful tactic in winning more games, tournaments, as well as ranking up. However, I would highly recommend you don't solo queue because some of the randoms you get in Rocket League are catastrophically brain dead. So if you hop on with some friends, then this will definitely work for you. On the other hand, however, it won't really make you any better or improve your mechanics, and you'll just end up being another champ player with plat level mechanics. So the bottom line is, yes, you will rank up, but is it worth not having decent mechanics or game sense? Well, that's for you to decide. In my opinion, I would only recommend this tactic for someone who has decent mechanics and game sense but is hard stuck in the lower ranks. This should at least get you to the rank where you wanna be. Anyway, that however is gonna wrap up today's video. If you even somewhat enjoyed it, then why not like and subscribe to the channel? It's free and it's greatly appreciated. With that said, I love your faces and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.